There is a temple south of Luxor in Egypt that is still relatively intact, and the walls are covered in the most amazing hieroglyphs. I went there with my guide NEXT, and he showed me the Edfu texts. He knew that I specifically wanted to see the ones that people say refer to Atlantis. He was skeptical that they actually do refer to Atlantis, and I now understand why, but the texts are still very relevant to my perspective, and I will explain why. The Edfu texts are amazingly detailed. They're ranging from the construction and origins of the temple to a variety of captivating myths. One such myth tells the story of an ancient epoch, the before time, when divine entities, referred to as gods, ruled the world. Well, chances are they just meant Egypt, but who knows? The narrative describes an island homeland, and it's the original abode of these gods and the site of the first temple. And that temple served as the blueprint for subsequent temples. Now, by temple, to me that means place of learning, but to them, I guess it meant place of worship. But let's delve deeper into this so-called mythical tale of the before time, because it mentions that the birthplace of these primeval beings was tragically obliterated by a catastrophic flood event. Now, this island birthplace bears striking similarities to Plato's description of the legendary Atlantis, but moreover, and more importantly to me, it's a perfect match to the descriptions I have given of both the origins of Egypt and the destruction of Tantal, otherwise known today as Atlantis. And that includes a devastating tsunami come flood that destroyed and submerged that ancient land. I think it's important to note that the Edfu texts do not explicitly depict an advanced civilization by our modern standards, nor do they give a precise timeline. The only glimpses we have of any advanced technology in the texts lie in the references to the gods. These gods were described as possessing magic, a term often used to characterize phenomena beyond our understanding, akin to technology. The Egyptian stories that speak of magic can often be interpreted today as possibly technology, but from my perspective, speaking directly from my dream regressions on this subject, I believe that I know what the technology was that existed before the dynastic Egyptians. I know what the residual technology was like that the dynastic Egyptians actually had access to, and who, from the original Atlanteans, might still have been around. So those that were incognito walking amongst them, or those acting as gods or magicians, as well as even those who lived simple lives nearby and were considered to be just a group of stonemasons with amazing secrets. But back onto the subject of the Edfu texts. It is a beautiful temple that has a history of being rebuilt many times. The current version of the temple was constructed during the Ptolemaic period, which is relatively recent. It's like 2,100 years ago. But earlier temples date back to Ramses III, according to archaeologists. But that differs from my opinion, which, based on my dream regressions, the previous temples go back much further, even to pre-dynastic times. And one fascinating aspect to the building of the temple is that the current version, according to the Edfu texts, took 180 years to build. In my opinion, this is accurate. So why is it so interesting? Well, compare that to the building of the Great Pyramid, which, according to archaeologists, took a mere 20 years to build. I'll just leave that thought with you. And the Edfu texts, amazing.